Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Figma Kamen Rider Strike action figure set by Max Factory. This set is number 23 in the SP line of Figma action figures, and was first available in early 2011. I got this set towards the end of 2012 when I purchased this set off of eBay and paid $32 including shipping for the set, which I consider a pretty good deal considering that Kamen Rider Strike normally sells for over $50 off of eBay. Taking a look at Strike here in the packaging, you can see the Kamen Rider, who's from the Kamen Rider show Dragon Knight in the US, which is an adaptation of the original Japanese tokusatsu show Kamen Rider Ryuki, where this character is more known as Kamen Rider Ouja. Now, in both series, I believe Kamen Rider Strike or Ouja are evil Kamen Riders. I haven't watched too many episodes of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight where Strike makes an appearance, but I'm gonna guess he's pretty evil, much like his Ryuki version of Ouja, where he's just probably one of the most evil of the Kamen Riders in that show. But you can see Strike here in the packaging, and he comes with a whole bunch of accessories, including his snake staff slash visor, his sword, final vent card, and not shown in the packaging are some of the more common Figma accessories such as the base, plastic bag, extra hand accessories, and so on. You can see down here the packaging design with the Figma logo and Kamen Rider Strike's name there, I believe in both Japanese and English. And he's number 23 in the SP series. Here on the side of the packaging, it's got the standard Figma logo going down the side there. Same information that was on the front. On this side, we have a nice picture of Kamen Rider Strike in one of his more iconic poses there, and it's kind of neat how they have this design because the other Kamen Rider sets from Figma have a similar design. So if you have multiple sets, you can line them up all together. The packaging makes for a nice display of Kamen Riders. It's pretty cool. Here we have the back of the package with Kamen Rider Strike in various poses. The iconic pose here of Strike, and some other poses, and this one I know is from his final vent pose, more like a scissor type kick where he defeats the enemy with that kick. Over here we have, I believe, a statistical information for Strike. I'm not sure because this is in Japanese and I can't read Japanese, but I'm gonna guess that's statistical information. Then we have more informational writing there, which again I cannot read most of it because it's in Japanese there. So, but pretty cool. And we're gonna go ahead and take a closer peek into Kamen Rider Strike next. Okay, we're back and we have Kamen Rider Strike out of the package, and as you can see, the figure does come with a lot of accessories. This is just typical of Figma figure sets. And we're just going to go ahead and get started and take a look at all of these items that come included with Strike. And we're going to start out with this here. And this is basically the inner lining of the box that the figure came in. And it's pretty cool. It's got a nice motif here of shattered glass to represent the mirror world that the Kamen Riders fight in and do battle in, and it's actually pretty cool. And we also have here a nice emblem of Kamen Rider Strike, that of the cobra or snake. Pretty cool. Now there is a preparation around this little lining here, and you can punch this almost square shaped here. I don't know if you can see it in the glare there, but you can punch that out, and you can use that as part of a display base. It's sold separately, but you can actually attach this onto a display base, and use this as a display base. But I will not do that. I really like this inner lining. It almost serves as kind of a backdrop as well, and that's what I plan to use it for if I ever do use it. Most likely I'll just put it back in the box, but it can be used as a backdrop as well, which is pretty cool. Now taking a look at some of the other neat items that are included with Strike here, and we have here a display base. Now, not the display base I was talking about earlier, but this is more of a display base if you want to have your figure flying or leaping, and it's actually kind of cool. It came in two pieces, the post here and the actual base itself, and you just plug it in into the peg hole, and this allows the post here to be used at different angles. So there's an articulation point at the base here where you can angle the post as well as rotate the post, and there's a articulation point at the middle, so you can move that forward and back, and there's an articulation point at the top that you can rotate up and around as well. And then you have this peg here that just pegs into the back of the figure here, right there, and you just gotta squeeze it in, twist it in, and it'll eventually secure itself. The figure will secure itself onto the post or the peg, and then you can pose the figure in various dynamic poses, as if he were leaping off the ground, or jumping off a building, or even flying if he was capable of flying. It's pretty cool, and this is pretty much comes standard with all of the Figma Kamen Rider sets, and I'm willing to guess that it comes with all of Figma sets in general, which is pretty cool. It's a nice display base, nice addition to be included with these Figma sets. So that's kind of cool. And pretty much all Figma sets also come with this Ziploc bag with the Figma logo there. And this is sized just enough for allow you to place the figure in here and also the accessories. So it's a nice freebie, I guess, storage container, you could say. Kind of cool to include a Ziploc bag, and you can even write down, if you wanted to, in some marker into that. Kind of cool to place your accessories and figure in. Another thing that comes with at least most Figma Kamen Rider sets are the extra pairs of hands. And now the figure came with 2 closed fists attached to the figure, and then you have a nice set of 8 extra hands here. Basically, you have a pair of I guess flayed open hands here. One of them is already on the figure. Then you have a pair of slightly cupped fingers on there, but still an open type palm. And then you have, of course, the pair of closed fists that were originally on the figure. And then you also have a hand for the holding the card from his Advent deck, which is kind of cool. You can see how it's sculpted there, and you can actually fit the card that came included onto the pair of hands. It's a really tight grip. Here, I have to probably do this off camera here just to get it done. There we go. And you could see right there that the hand is holding the card, which is very, very cool. And you also have an extra gripping hand. This one's more square as opposed to the other gripping hand that's on right there, which this one's a little bit more angled. You have a pair of angled gripped hands, while this one is more leveled off on there. So kind of cool. And then you have this nice little holder here to hold the hands there. And you see that you can just pull them right off of the holder there, and you can see the hands are nicely painted on the back of the hands there to represent the padding of the I guess on the gloves on the hand. Next thing I'll take a look at is this here. It's basically the snake staff. This is Kamen Rider Strike's visor. Basically, he uses this to load the cards from his advent deck into the visor in the back there to produce a sword or a final attack or what have you. Various different extra powers, I guess you could say. And you can see it's sculpted into the style of a cobra or snake, which is Strike's contract monster. And it's nicely sculpted. You can see all the detail, the snake head and around the area on the neck. I'm not sure what you call that part of this cobra. But then you can see it's painted silver on the underneath there. And this is supposed to be purple, but it's showing up as blue. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But you can see the gold-colored detail on there. It's very, very cool. And you can see some sculpting detail of where the, I guess the little switch he flips up. This is a back portion of the staff would push up, and then he can actually load his advent cards into there and push it back down, and that'll, I guess, load the particular power on there. But very cool. You can see some more gold detail work here along the neck of the snake staff there, and then you can see where the excuse me, the grip is, where he holds the snake staff. Some more detail work in the length of the staff itself. It ends in a point. Very cool. And the Figure Arts version, I believe, actually does articulate. You can actually move the back portion of this staff up to be able to load a card in. But this one doesn't. So, but still pretty cool to have the visor for Kamen Rider Strike. Next thing I'll take a look at is the one of the cards. I believe it's the final vent card. Very tiny, and basically you would take that card and load it into the staff there. But you could see got some detail there. You can see the emblem of the snake again to represent the final vent, which is basically him jumping on top of his contract monster and then leaping at the enemy, doing a real wild scissor kick and defeating his opponent. But it's pretty cool. You can also see some gold here. I guess that's the data area where you would load that into the visor, and where it's going to be red. And the other side of this card is just plain purple, although it's showing up as blue on there. But pretty cool. And as you saw earlier, one of the hands can be used to grip this card if you wanted to pose him holding the card, which is really quite neat. So pretty cool. Okay, and the final accessory we're gonna go ahead and take a look at is the sword that Kamen Rider Strike uses. And let me just pull the hand off here. And this is a pretty cool item. Now, to use this sword, Kamen Rider Strike will load a strike vent card, and a sword will appear for him to use, and it's this one here. And it's quite an interesting design, very unique, and it's actually supposed to represent the tail of a snake of I can't remember the name of his contract monster, but it's a big giant purple cobra, and this is his tail. And he when Strike loads the sword vent card into his visor, I guess the contract monster will give his tail to Strike for him to use as a sword. And it's just a unique design. Nice gold paint applied here on the blade of the sword. And this is a rounded, it's not a flat blade. It's more rounded with a spiral type pattern. It's not really spiral, but it looks like a spiral type pattern on there with ridges around the sword there. It's actually quite neat. And then he has a finger guard here in purple, again showing up as blue, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And then here We have a knob, which is very similar to the knobs that are on the figure. But pretty cool, and you can see that the hand grips the sword fairly well. In fact, it's a little tight. I had a difficult time trying to get the hand onto the sword, so I'm leaving the hand as is and just pull the hand out, and you can see the joint there for him to just plug into here. There we go, and that's actually kind of neat. Now, taking a look at Kamen Rider Strike, or Ouja in the Ryuki series, but Strike in the Dragon Knight series. And this guy, at least from the Ryuki series, is a badass character and one evil dude. And I'm not familiar with the Kamen Rider Strike from the Dragon Knight series, but if I were to guess, he's equally as bad and evil. And it's a very interesting design, but I gotta point out right away that the color that's showing up on the video screen is completely wrong. My camera cannot process the color purple very well. It doesn't do it very well at all. It's terrible, actually. And this is not the true color of on Kamen Rider Strike. And just to show you what the color is supposed to look like, I managed to play around with the color settings of my camera to at least represent the purple color that is on this figure properly, and I'm gonna do that for this brief moment here. Okay, I've switched the color settings on my camera to more of a yellowish tint here, and this is as close as I can get to show what the purple color on Kamen Rider Strike actually looks like. It's still not quite accurate, but it's as close as I can get to this shade of purple that's on the figure. It's still a little bluish from what I see on the camera, but I just wanted to at least show you how close the purple is on this figure supposed to be. But I'm going to go ahead and switch the color back to my normal color settings here. Alright, we're back, and again, he's in a shade of blue, which is totally inaccurate, but just continuing on, taking a look at Kamen Rider Strike here. Very unique design, very cool, I think. He's one of my more favorite Kamen Rider designs from the Ryuki or Dragon Knight series, and I like it quite a bit. And you could see the, I guess, the Cobra-like motif that's going on with Strike here. And let me just bring up the Cobra to line up it right here. You can see the helmet is very much like a Cobra-like design, which is pretty cool. And he got these slits here from where he could see out of his helmet there. A nice design there. And you got this gold here detail, which is sculpted in, and the line work is sculpted in, and then it's painted in this gold, which is pretty cool. And you can see the back of the helmet there going around. So he's got that Cobra type motif in the design of his helmet, and not just in the helmet, but in the design of his armor as well, with the flared out to the side, very much like the Cobra here, which is pretty cool. And you can see it more of that Cobra design from the rear, right along the sides there. It's actually kind of cool. Very neat armor. And you can see the detail here along the shoulder here. And this is made of a softer plastic, which is kind of cool. So it's nice and bendable to allow more freedom of movement at the shoulders. Not quite true freedom, but still nice enough to allow a little bit more than if this was hard plastic. But very cool. You can see some more design work there on the torso of his midsection of his armor there. Very, very cool. And then also here you can see armor on the shoulder here and all along the arm. And underneath all of this armor, he's got this not latex, but a rubbery type padding that they use on the show, which is kind of cool. And here we have the belt along the waist, which is pretty cool. All the Kamen Riders have this belt and a buckle area to place the advent deck on. And you can see Strike's advent deck here loaded, and it's actually kind of neat. Nice sculpting detail there. Got the emblem of his contract monster there, that of the Cobra. Pretty cool. And they use this advent deck to pull cards out of to load into the visor to do certain attacks on there. So pretty cool, and defenses as well. But really nice detail on the belt and the advent deck there. Pretty cool. Along the leg here, you can see more of that padding that they wear. You can see some sculpting detail along the legs there. Pretty cool. And also at the knee, you got this port here, interface type port, which is hardly ever used from what I've seen on the show. I've seen the port here on the waist as a sort of a belt buckle when they ride their bikes. But I'm not sure what the knee one is for. Maybe it's just armor padding type of thing, but kind of cool. And then you got the belt design, or boot design, excuse me, of the figure there. And it's nice and purple, although it's showing up as blue. But it's got that nice gloss paint on there, just like the armor here. Very, very nice. And nice design too on detail. Very, very cool. Now going over the articulation for Kamen Rider Strike here. The head is on that disc system, not really a ball joint system, but more of a disc type peg system. It's kind of interesting how it is. Now most Figma figures have that disc or ball type of joint. It's really more of a hinged joint, combination of a swivel. And you can actually pull the head off, and you can see the joint there, which is typical for most Figma figures. This disc or ball is actually split in half and allows articulation in various directions, and it's actually kind of neat. Let me just put it back here, and this allows the head to go up and down, all the way around, and depending on the position of the hinge of the disc, it can go side to side or extreme up or down movement. So it's kind of cool how that articulation point here. Now there is a similar articulation point at the shoulders that allows the arms to go in and out, but because of this armor here, it's kind of restrictive. You can see some of the armor bumping into the shoulder padding area here. And there's also a rotational movement around the shoulder area, so that's kind of cool. And there's also in and out movement on the arm. There is bicep articulation here, allows the arm to go all the way around at the upper bicep area. And there's that disc joint system again at the elbow. And you can just pull off the arm here. You can see the disc area there and the peg in here. And that articulation point allows you to bend the arm about that much and that much back, as well as all the way around the peg, either at the forearm or the upper arm. And the hands do bend in and out, as well as all the way around on here. And that's the case for all of the extra hands. And the torso can bend downwards, upwards, and back, although the armor does run into the belt a little bit, so that kind of restricts the backward movement of this figure. You can go all the way around at that torso area, as well as bending side to side, again using that disc joint system there for the torso area. So you get quite a few range of movement on the torso area there. Let me just put this back here. And the legs are joined at the hip with a ball socketed joint. You can see underneath there. And that is covered up nicely with this thin layer of rubberized plastic, which is kind of cool. It meshes well with the leg sculpt there. And this allows the leg to go upwards, down and back, out to the side, and in and out at the hip there. So it's kind of cool. And you can see the disc jointed system here behind the knee. And this allows the leg to go back, this far back and that far forward at the knee. And similar disc jointed disc peg system for the feet. It allows the feet to go up and down, and depending on the hinge, you can have it ankle pivot, extreme ankle pivot, depending on the position of that hinge. And you can also get the leg or foot all the way around there, so it's kind of cool. Overall, it's a great design for these Kamen Rider figures in Figma form. Nice detail, excellent detail I should say, and I really like this particular design for Strike, or Ouja, one of the bad guys from the Kamen Rider series. But this is my casual peek into the Figma Kamen Rider Strike action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.